Some Linux projects are running out of money. GTK will drop X11 in the future. We receive new updates for KDE Plasma and LibreOffice. And also let's talk about F-Droid and their latest funding. This is Linux Ort, I'm Jean, and in this video I want to show you some Linux and open source news. Let's just start right through with Free Desktop, Alpine Linux and some other projects are thrown out of the door because their server hoster Equinix, it is called, they were really kind in the last years and they completely sponsored and hosted their projects, but now Equinix is closing their metal brand. So many Linux projects under it, the Free Desktop project. If you don't know what Free Desktop is the project of Linux which is holding everything kind of together because it defines how our desktop works, what are the default paths, what about our default applications and such technical things which every Linux system needs. And to standardize some behavior of Linux desktop, Free Desktop is they're really good, but they are also doing many more things, like for example also the Flatpak project develops a free desktop library, runtime library that Flatpaks can be run beside GNOME and KDE. So this is also very important. And also not only freedesktop.org is affected by this shutdown of Equinix, but also, for example, Alpine Linux. Alpine Linux is very well known and public in the Docker universe because almost every Docker container uses Alpine Linux as a base. But also our well-loved FlatHub, the so-called Linux App Store of all Flatpaks, is also affected by this shutdown of Equinix. And yeah, now they don't know yet where to go or where to host their stuff. Just to get a feeling what we are talking about, the Free Desktop project has about 400 gigabytes of databases and further about 100 terabytes of data which has to be stored. So this is quite a lot and they are not financed yet, but I will guess they will find a solution and we all could continue using them. But it's kind of sad that such very central projects which are kind of essential in our free software and Linux universe are having struggle finding some hosting space or funding to continue their work. And I hope this will be solved soon. And I'm very optimistic that they do so. For example, we have some very big foundations for such things. For example, the Linux Foundation. It's the foundation also where Linus Torvalds, the kernel chief, is in. But also we have, for example, a Mozilla funding, Mozilla Open Source Support Awards, something like this. So there are big organizations helping such projects and I'm very confident that they will also find a solution for this because they are very crucial in our Linux world. But yeah, kind of frightening that this could also happen in 2025 where Linux is kind of adapted. Yeah, not yet in the desktop world yet, but for example, for Alpine Linux, almost everyone uses it in the server environment also. So yeah, there have to be such issues solved, but again, they will get it. Let's head over to the next topic, which is also kind of crazy that they are already doing it. But yeah, I can understand this in a way because the GTK, the GNOME toolkit it is called, it's a toolkit. I guess almost every file manager but Dolphin are using this GTK toolkit for displaying their windows. They are dropping the X Windows system with GTK 5. So at the current time it is deprecated in GTK 4, but when sometimes GTK 5 will be released, this is not possible anymore to serve their apps in X11. So this is not a problem for many Linux desktop distributions right now, unless maybe for Linux Mint, because they are still sticking to X11. They are transforming to Wayland, I guess at a latest point of time in 2026, so in about 1 year. But if we have a look to Fedora, I guess even Pop! OS, also Debian, for example, or of course Ubuntu, they are all running in Wayland mode by default now. And I would say Wayland, the new display protocol has evolved a lot in the last years. But yeah, there are still some use cases, especially if it comes to remote desktop protocols, where Wayland isn't a thing right now. And now we are seeing, okay, also in such very specific spaces, it will get very hard in the future just to use X11 further on. So also on this space, we have to switch to Wayland at some point of time, which is quite challenging for many projects, I would say. And also for me as a developer, I also have some struggles implementing my applications with Wayland functionality. For example, the Linux assistant, this is the app I created myself, has some issues dealing with Wayland because I can't really use some projects and some libraries that are detecting if a window is open, for example, or not, or if it comes to screen sharing. This is completely different in Wayland, and this is good that it's different. But yeah, for this, many libraries have to redeveloped or will be dropped in support. And this is kind of bad. So we have to see here a new generation of some libraries. For example, the much loved Xkel here. This is this small app, very, very handy. If I start it, I get an X in my mouse pointer, and now I can close any window or kill any window I want to. And this is quite handy. And I guess there isn't any solution right now in Wayland or any similar solution, which is quite easy. So just such small tools, and it continues further on. It was just an example. Yeah, it will be very hard to switch completely to Wayland, and also yeah, GTK forces it right now, but I understand it because they are dropping X11 and they are inserting something a lot more exciting, and this is Android. They want to support Android in the future, and I guess yeah, this will be the future, especially if we have a look, for example, to F-Droid later and to Linux on smartphones maybe. When it comes to Linux on smartphones, of course, Android has to be a thing because the base Android platform is open source. Then it makes, from that perspective, very much sense that they are jumping on the Android train. But yeah, the Android train is kind of old nowadays, or kind of established. But yeah, let's see how the GTK project is continuing there. And this is quite cool, so to say. So yeah, we will see a lot of changes in the next year regarding Wayland and X11. Of course, many users are already using Wayland, but there are many also power users which still stick to X11 because there just everything works. And with Wayland, something is kind of experimental right now. And yeah, this has to change. Again, just to get a feeling, also Ubuntu will drop X11 support at 2026. Because of this, for example, Linux Mint is enforced to step up to the Wayland train, and it's the right one. But yeah, there has a lot of work be done. This is it to X11, and let's come to another quite cool news. We have KDE Plasma 6.3 desktop environment, which is now officially released. And the cool thing is, with it, it also will ship into Debian 13. So Debian 13, which will be released around August or September, I guess, will have the latest KDE Plasma desktop, which comes with many improvements. Just let's head over to the announcement page, and here we see some highlights. We have some zoom, we have some more support on drawing tablets, and also cloning some panels if we want to copy a panel to another screen or to another edge of our screen. This is quite cool. Yeah, just a small feature update, but very cool that especially, for example, Debian will also get it in their upcoming version 13, which will be released this year. So great to see this. Also great to see the new release of LibreOffice 25.2. It's also just a small release with some new functionality. At a base, I wouldn't recommend just to update LibreOffice on your existing Linux to the latest version, unless your distribution recommends it or has the update for it. For example, on all stable releases like Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Pop! OS or Debian, we have a kind of older LibreOffice version, and this is kind of okay, especially if we have a look. Yeah, there doesn't really change too much from version to version in LibreOffice because it is already very evolved. And yeah, we have some improvements in Writer. For example, we have some default settings with zoom. So if you want to open up a document just with a specific zoom setting, this is now automatically supported, but also some other cool features. I put you the link into the video description. For the Ubuntu base, we will get these updates. And some more future coming updates, I guess at first in April next year, because then the latest Ubuntu version will be released. But Debian 13 will be newer for some period of time for the new Ubuntu LTS is released. So great to see that they are also releasing some new stuff. Also, if it comes to some proprietary documents, they are also supporting OOXML documents, which could be quite useful for the future. And the only thing I'm criticizing about LibreOffice, it's on the one hand a very great and a fully upgrown complete Office suite, but we have one big weakness if it comes to compatibility to Microsoft formats. Of course, LibreOffice doesn't want to get the focus on this because they don't want to support a proprietary file format, of course, but it makes very hard for some people which are just switching to free and open source software, and if they rely on the Microsoft formats, then they can't really use LibreOffice yet. Yeah, there is some compatibility, but in terms of formatting and some special things, it sometimes doesn't work at all, and this is very sad. And yeah, this is the only last thing I have to criticize about LibreOffice. But yeah, if you have your own opinion about this, this is completely okay, of course. In my opinion, every hurdle which is lowered will make it easier for new users, and vice versa. LibreOffice will get more market share, and with it more supporters, more money, and so on. So it could be a thing investing in such compatibilities, even if in the long run LibreOffice will of course work mainly with the open document format like ODT, ODS, and so on. So this is my take on it. What are you thinking about this? Just write it me into the comments. And let us get to the next news and the last news today, and this is about F-Droid. This is a very cool message. We talked about funding at the beginning of the video, but in the end of the video I can tell you, yeah, F-Droid has been awarded with the Open Technology Fund Sustainability Grant. This means they are getting around 400,000 US dollars, and with this they want to evolve their hosting strategy. Also they want to secure their funding in the future, so setting up more and easier donation methods and such kind of things. So F-Droid gets with this a very big boost, which will be great for all of us, because yeah, if we have a look of F-Droid, if you didn't know yet, F-Droid is a free app store for Android devices. So yeah, kind of an alternative of Google Play Store, and F-Droid has a very special feature. Every app is completely free and completely open source, also built from source on F-Droid. So this is also quite important for their developers and the team behind F-Droid. So yeah, if it comes to alternative app stores under Android, and if it comes to free software, then F-Droid is our place to be. Also, there's some software completely free on F-Droid for which you have to pay in the Google Play Store a bit, but this could be also quite helpful for some developers just to fund their projects further on. But maybe also a donating button in F-Droid would be better in the future, because then Google doesn't get anything of our money if we don't want to. So yeah, this is kind of cool for F-Droid. And if it comes to Linux on smartphones, I think this is the better way. So we support the Android platform. Just let's have a look to LineageOS. This is an open source project from the Android source code, because yeah, this Android source code is completely open source by Google. This has been a great strategy in the past, because only of this they could emerge into complete new markets with smartphones, and this didn't force other manufacturers to develop their own proprietary platform, because there's already a very big and good evolved open source platform for smartphones. Yeah, this is Android, And yeah, LinuxOS is a project which builds directly up on it and which is a completely open source Android solution. So if it comes, for example, to Ubuntu Touch and such other projects, they are not as evolved in all because regularly they don't have any APK files working. And with LinuxOS, you can still keep all your apps which don't use the Google Play Store. And this is also a thing about it. But there we have the OpenG apps and so on. So many apps can still run on an open source Android. And yeah, LinuxOS is one way to go. Other projects are EOD or Murena OS, also called EOS. They are, in my opinion, the future for open source and free software on smartphones, not our regular Linux distributions we know from the desktop market. And yeah, this isn't bad at all because, of course, Android also runs Linux because, yeah, the Linux kernel is in every Android device and maybe also in your small device, in your pocket, smartwatch, printer, and so on. But this is it for another video. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel because every week we are releasing new stuff about Linux and open source software. So stay tuned and see you on the next one. Bye.